Here we're cooking blackened salmon bites. We're serving it in a buttery rice bowl alongside a fresh mango salad and black beans. Balanced, no skimping. In the flavor department, I cannot wait to begin. So yum. Let's start by washing our hands. We have chosen to use long grain basmati rice, and I have 2 cups in here. We're going to wash it until the water is no longer cloudy. And then to cook the rice, we're going to need some water, right? The water has to be above the rice at least half an inch to cook it nice and fluffy. And now we're going to season our rice. First ingredient is grated onion. I have a tablespoon of it. Half a teaspoon of bouillon. Salt to taste. A tablespoon of butter. And a pinch of saffron. This is going to give it a beautiful bright yellow color, and we only need a pinch. A little bit goes a long way. Now stir and taste your water. Ensure your water is well seasoned by tasting it, and you want to do this before you begin to cook. And it is perfect. And now our rice cooks. As our rice cooks, we're going to cut our salmon into bite-sized cubes and then proceed by seasoning it with our blackened mix. For our blackening seasoning mix, we need 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, a little salt to taste, followed by a 1/4 teaspoon each of the following ingredients. This is chili powder, smoked paprika, curry powder, lemon pepper, bouillon, white pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. And that is all she wrote. Just a splash of oil. And we're going to now make sure that all of our salmon bites is evenly coated. Coated on all sides. This is exactly how we want it. I'm giving our rice a quick stir because the batter is melted and the saffron also has been steeped in the hot water. So give it a stir, place the lid back on, and continue to cook until fluffy. Our salmon was chilled in the fridge, so now we're going to leave it at room temperature for about 10 to 15 minutes before we cook it. Next, we're going to cook our black beans. I have 3 canned black beans here. Each one of them is 15.5 fluid ounces. I'm just gonna pour them in here because I really like to drain the beans. Okay, all this liquid here. To cook the beans, we'll need about 1.5 tablespoons of butter. And to our melted butter, I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of chopped onion and 1 tablespoon of chopped jalapeno without the seeds. Season with some salt and a pinch of crushed black pepper, and add a clove of garlic, minced or crushed right into it. Now stir the ingredients together and let it sweat. Once it becomes fragrant, we'll add our beans. It's important to use fresh aromatic ingredients to revive and brighten the canned beans, if that's what you end up using. And canned ingredients are convenient, they're great, especially when you're trying to save yourself some time. It takes too long to cook black beans anyway. A pinch of bouillon, a pinch of salt. Of course, you're tasting as you go, so you'll know what you need to add. Another pinch of black pepper. Give it a stir. Taste again. Make sure it's well seasoned to your preference. Now add some water. This is 1/3 cup of water, and then you're going to start mashing, just to get some creaminess going. And I want texture still, so I'm going to mash about half of the beans and leave the rest whole. For the mango salad, we're going to need 2 mangoes. When selecting your mangoes, make sure that they are nice and firm, ripened but firm. And I'm making sure not to cut through the skin. Next ingredient, onions. Jalapeno. Next ingredient, tomatoes, Fresno chili, we need cilantro, a few leaves of that, and then parsley as well. We'll chop them roughly together. We need 1 garlic clove, minced right in, or crushed too. We're going to need the juice of a lime. We juice the first half in. The tartness of the lime is going to just brighten everything. And also the oils from the zest really freshen things up. Perfect. And now we're going to need to add some crushed black pepper. About a pinch of that will go a long way. And then also season to taste with your salt. And that is all she wrote. And then give it a mix. And lastly, we're going to hit it with our herbs, the cilantro and the flat leaf parsley. Off to the fridge to rest, and then we'll be serving soon. We are cooking the beans on very low heat setting. And it looks amazing. It looks ready. It's creamy with texture. I have tasted and the seasoning is perfect. So it's ready. We're going to remove it from the range. Keep the lid on to keep it warm. A quick recap of what we have done so far. Our rice is cooked and ready to be served. Our fish has been seasoned with our blackening seasoning. It's ready to be seared and served as well. Our beans also ready. We've removed it from the range. Soon we will be spooning it. And then our mango salsa or salad is chilling in the fridge. So now let's cook our fish. We'll start on medium heat. You want to use a non-stick skillet. And you're going to add a splash of oil. A bit of butter. And the cooking oil is going to prevent the butter from burning. Let this all mesh together. So you want to keep a reasonable distance in between each piece of salmon. We're going to cook them 1 minute on each side because these are smaller pieces of fish. We don't want to overcook them either. Your favorite part is where we are right now. We're about to serve. My favorite part too. So we'll start with the rice. As per usual, this is a rice bowl, so that will always take the lead. So we have these little specks of saffron colored rice bits in there. It's so pretty. Time to taste. Look how lovely the fish is. It's moist. Let's take a look. See that? If it gets any moist than this, we'll be looking at a mush. The fish is moist, it's seasoned well, it's buttery, it's almost melting in my mouth. All of those seasonings and spices, they came together to party. And the rice. And do you see the little specks of yellow from the saffron? The saffron is there. Very mild, not overwhelming or overtaking this in any way. So we took some canned beans, boring canned beans, and transformed it into this gorgeous beauty right here. Buttery, seasoned to perfection, and it is also fresh tasting. What a perfect accompaniment. Now let's taste the salad. Oh, wow. Sweet definitely has a kick in it that sneaks up on you, but it's perfect because it's so refreshing. So why must you try this rice bowl recipe? Because one, it is balanced. Every component you need in any dish you need to nourish your body is right here in this bowl. And it's also visually appealing to the eyes, isn't it? You've got your protein in different forms. The salmon is a very healthy kind of fish, and it is very tasty. Protein from the beans as well as healthy carbohydrates. And it's creamy, you know, all these beautiful textures. Let's not forget the salad, which is one of the most important components of this rice bowl, because you're getting your vitamins and your minerals from it. And it's also a sweetness that helps to really balance everything, including the tartness from the lime. I mean, you have to try it. You just have to. I know we all can use a bowl of hot soup, such as this creamy, protein-rich potato salmon soup. Friends, this is so simple to put together. It is nutritious and it's equally delicious. Let me show you how I put it together. The recipe requires 3 large russet or Idaho potatoes and 1 large sweet potato. We'll also be needing 1 large onion, 2 large carrots, celery, 3 cloves of garlic. And to prep, you want to chop all your vegetables, mince or crush your garlic, and then you also want to dice your potatoes, the Idaho or russet potatoes, as well as the sweet potatoes. The sweet potato is coming in to bring some color, more nutrition, and also to bring that sweetness we need to balance this very savory soup. For the potatoes to cook evenly, it is crucial that they're diced into the same size throughout. Now, the potatoes can also be grated. In fact, you can combine the two prepping styles. Grate some and then also dice some. I prefer to dice all of my potatoes because the soup in the end is significantly more presentable. Always thinking ahead, we know we want whatever it is we're cooking to look presentable because we eat with our eyes first. So dicing it, I feel, is the best route to take. Now, I do encourage you, though, to make sure that all your diced potatoes are submerged in water while you prep the rest of your ingredients to prevent them from turning color. Now, here is our salmon. It's filleted beautifully. I have made sure there are no pin bones in there. However, the skin is still on, so I'm going to give it a quick de-skinning. Perfect. Now the belly is very fatty. And because I'm going to be pan-searing the salmon for the preparation, I trim the belly off. I do not discard it. I'm going to be using it in the recipe, so keep on watching. The rest of the salmon will be cut into bite-sized pieces, and the shape I'm going for are cubes. Almost done with the prepping phase of this preparation. Next step is to season the fish, for which we'll need half a teaspoon each of Old Bay seasoning, smoked paprika, mixed herb buttery seasoning mix. And at this stage, you can get really creative with your seasoning, whatever you like on your fish. I've added some curry powder, followed by some onion powder, garlic powder just went in, followed by lemon pepper. And now you're going to mix it up to make sure that all of the fish pieces are coated well and evenly. Now this fish is very fatty, so no oil is needed to ensure that the seasonings are spreadable. Also, it is almost impossible, very, very difficult, let me put it that way, to dry out salmon because it's a very moist fish. So in your non-stick skillet, you're going to pour in some cooking olive oil or any cooking oil you like to cook with. And then place them in there and make sure that they are not touching each other. All right, as I like to say, let them practice social distancing. This is because we do not want to create steam as they touch each other. That can happen and then soup will start forming. And that isn't what we're going for. So flip them or turn them after a minute on each side or so, about 30 seconds to a minute on each side. Just eyeball it. What you want is a golden brown color. Presentation, presentation, presentation. Once you're done, you're going to pour all the oil you seared the fish into the pot, your soup pot. Add some butter to it and then throw in that belly we trimmed off. Yes, we're not going to throw that out. We're going to use it to build flavor. And as you cook the salmon belly, stirring occasionally, it will naturally fall apart. It will naturally disintegrate. And that is totally fine. That's what you actually want. So that you can cook a lot of that fat out and then go in with a repeat of the same ingredients you used to season the fish. This time in 1/4 teaspoon amounts, all right? Equal amounts. And then stir that in as well. Keep cooking until the fish belly becomes almost like bacon bits. Yummy. And then you're going to go in with your mirepoix or your holy trinity. All right, which is the carrots, the onions, and the celery. Now pour that in and continue to saute that. What you want is for that to become translucent, fragrant, and soft. Also, you're going to go in with a pinch of salt or to taste, followed by lots of crushed black pepper. Continue to saute that for about an additional minute. Then go in with your crushed or minced garlic and some green chili sauce. This is an optional ingredient which you may not have on hand. Look in the description box. I have listed the ingredients and their amounts of what you would need to substitute the green chili sauce with. Also in the Naba's kitchen, I have like 3 or 4 recipes for this green chili sauce. I like to use it to build flavor, so I keep it in my fridge. And when I'm out, I make some more. I just added the Idaho potatoes, and now I'm also adding the sweet potatoes. I'm going to just kind of fold that in, stir that in, and continue to let it cook an extra 2 minutes. Then add vegetable broth. Now, you can use water in place of the vegetable broth. Believe me, you will not be missing any flavor. You will not be diluting anything with the water. You know why? Because you already have that fish flavor in there, which you get a lot of that flavor from the fish belly. You also have your mirepoix and other ingredients in there that really help to build flavor on any kind of broth. So in the absence of broth, feel free to use water and do not worry about it. It's really not that deep. All right, now you want to stir it in, and then you want to apply the lid and cook on low, medium heats for 10 minutes or until the potato is crushable, just like so that we will be getting close to turning the soup into a creamy potato soup. And now comes the addition of a very nutritious ingredient. Yes, low fat, protein rich, Greek yogurt, and we're adding quite an amount. Also think of it. Yogurt, as we all know, naturally presents with a mild, almost background taste of sourness or tanginess, which is needed here because it's going to help balance all the flavors we already have in the soup pot. I did follow up with some half and half, which is half whole milk and half heavy whipping cream to bring more creaminess and richness to the soup. Of course, we're going to freshen all that richness we have going on in our soup pot with some fresh flat leaf or Italian parsley in the end as a garnish. And let me tell you, this soup is incredibly delicious. We're going to fold in our parsley. We're done cooking. At this point, you want to turn the heat off. Then go in with your pan-seared salmon. I'm going to reserve some of the salmon for presentation reasons. I'm going to crush some onto the soup the way you would bacon bits. Now you can use bacon in place of the salmon. You can use chicken in place of the salmon. In fact, you can even use turkey, minced beef, or minced pork, whatever protein you like to cook with. Sausage even will be perfect here too, especially Italian sausage. Oh, yum, 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 yum. This soup was delicious beyond the moon, friends, and I hope you can give it a shot. Now just look at this. The color is on point. It is giving in every way you can think of it. Yes, the vegetables in there are nice and soft. Children would love this. Babies would love this too. And it has all of your nutrition in the correct balance. Now look, crushing the fish on there like that, exposing the pink, the natural pink hue that salmon has. Oh, just absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful bowl of soup. Equally delicious. Very, very quintessential comfort soup for the cold weather. Just what I needed today. Today, I bring you a rice bowl dish which we will be pairing with pan-seared salmon and some vegetables. Let's start by washing our hands. I have 2 cups of rice. We're going to begin by washing the rice as per usual. Our water is no longer cloudy, so we will add some water to cover the rice about half an inch. We're going to grate 1 clove of garlic in there. About a tablespoon of onion. Half a teaspoon of bouillon. Salt to taste. Cold pressed coconut oil, about a tablespoon. Now you must stir and make sure your water is seasoned well by tasting. Perfect. Now I'll throw in 1 Scotch bonnet chili for flavor. We'll leave it whole. Next, we have our salmon. A whole filleted salmon with the skin still on, which I will leave on. Beautiful piece of fish. Now, you want to feel for any bones. If you find any, pick them with a kitchen tweezer. We're going to trim the belly off because that's super fatty and it usually falls apart. And we're going to save this, which we will save for fish stock later. Time to season the fish. For that, we're going to need half a teaspoon of crushed black pepper, salt to taste. Same amount lemon pepper, same amount curry powder, Same amount regular paprika. Dijon mustard, we're using the grainy one, half a teaspoon of that, and then same amount of the regular Dijon mustard. And then the juice of half a lemon. Juice it right in. Of course, some oil, about 2 tablespoons. Stir together to get a paste. It smells zesty due to the lemon. The Dijon mustard is also coming through. The paprika gives it this lovely rich color. This fish is gonna be amazing in taste. All right, now a generous amount of your marinade onto each fish, about a dollop each, and then we're going to brush it. So for best results, your fish must be at room temperature for it to be pan-seared effectively. It was in the fridge before marinating, so we'll leave it right here on the kitchen counter just for about 10 minutes, and then we'll be pan-searing. Next, we're going to chop up these scallions and 1 carrot for the rice. Now we're going to add the carrots and the scallions to the rice. First, you want to fluff the rice up. The vegetables have been stirred in evenly. We're going to throw the lid back on it and leave the rice cooker on warm just to sort of soften the vegetables a bit. We'll be serving soon. Next, we're cutting up the rest of our vegetables for our rice bowl. I'm gonna start with the carrots, and I'm just gonna cut them in the bias. 2 zucchinis, and we're going to cut those as well. I also have yellow squash. We're going to cut those as well in the bias. Next, we have an onion, and we're going to just slice these. And I have 1 jalapeno, which also goes into our stir fry. I will remove the seeds and give them a rough chop. And this is a Scotch bonnet chili that we added to the rice. We're going to mince that. And that is going to be part of the onion sauce that brings the whole rice bowl together. To bring our rice bowl dish together, we need a sauce. We're going to make a quick oniony sauce. It's going to be mustardy, yes, very tangy, sweet at the same time, and quite flavorful. And we're going to crush these garlic cloves right into it. A 1/4 teaspoon of curry powder. And time to season with salt and crushed black pepper. Be generous with the crushed black pepper and a pinch of salt or to taste. Now we're going to add mustard. 1/2 teaspoon of Dijon and 1/2 teaspoon of the grainy. We need the juice of 1/2 lemon in there as well. Just drizzle it right in there. Then you need some bouillon as well. And now let's add the chili. And for our onion sauce, we'll need some olives. These are green olives that have already been pitted. Now we're going to finish up with this fresh parsley, just roughly chopped. In the same pan, we'll stir fry our vegetables. Heat must be on high, a splash of oil. First, the carrots, because they take longer to cook. A little salt. We're going to season each layer and some crushed black pepper as well. All right, the carrots look great. Now let's add the zucchini. Salt and crushed black pepper. Perfect. Now we're going to add our garlic cloves. We have 3 in there, and we're going to crush it right in. And the jalapeno. And a sprinkle of parsley to finish. Let's turn the stove off. Time to cook the fish. We're going to start on medium low. And a splash of oil. Last batch of the fish is done. We're ready to serve now. All right, all of our components, our rice is also ready. So we're going to serve our rice bowl right now. First thing that gets served is the star of the whole show, the rice. We're going to mold it to make it pretty. Next is our vegetables. A healthy serving of that too. And that looks good. Simple everyday ingredients makes a huge difference in your cooking. Don't overthink it. Don't complicate it. Just simplify it, you know? Our beautiful, moist, and flavorful, well-seasoned salmon is next. And lastly, our onion mustard sauce. Oh, this thing is sweet, it's tangy, it's mustardy, it's herbaceous. The perfect unifier. Which one is calling my name? I think that one. Yes, look at this one. Yum, yum. Now let's take a look at the fish. This onion sauce, I'm telling you, you must try it. It's Senegalese inspired onion sauce. See that? Beautiful, moist, pink, not overcooked. A little bit of rice. A little onion sauce. Today I'm bringing you a simple yet absolutely tasty rice bowl dish. We're pairing the rice with baked salmon. Of course, we're going to season the salmon well before we throw it in the oven. And then we're also adding some vegetables to it. It's going to be nutritious, tasty. We're not skimping on anything at all. Let's start first by washing our hands. Let's get the rice out of the way. That's the first thing we're going to do. So I have 2 cups of rice in here. We're just going to wash it because that's the right thing to do, right? All right, so we're going to wash the rice until the water is completely clear. The water is now clear, and I just want to make sure that the water is above the rice at least ½ an inch. Now I'm going to throw a little flavor at the rice, and all I need is about ½ a teaspoon of grated onion or onion paste. Fresh onion flavor in rice. Oh yeah, you must try it. It really works. Next, we're going to season the rice to taste, of course, with salt. And then, of course, we're going to add just a splash of oil to it. It helps the grains to separate and be fluffy. Stir it. And you want to stir and also taste the water because The seasoning in the water is what determines how the rice will be seasoned too. And it's perfect. Ready to cook the rice. And whilst the rice is cooking, we're going to spend some time on prepping and marinating our fish. I have 2 pieces of salmon. It came frozen in a packet from Fry's, a local grocery store close by. And as you can see, they've also already been cut. The skin is still on, and I'll leave it on because I want my fish to bake nice and moist. And the skin will help keep our fish nice and moist while it bakes. Because the fish came frozen, we let it thaw. It still has a little bit of moisture, so it's good to just go in and pat it kind of dry before we throw the marinade at it. All right, this is good enough. So for the marinade, I'm going to use half a teaspoon of lemon pepper. Same amount paprika for color. And then same amount curry powder, and of course you can use any seasoning you like. I really want to boost the pepperiness of this, so I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed black pepper, and of course a little salt to taste. And then I have this buttery steakhouse seasoning which has herbs in it. I'm going to use half a teaspoon of it, just to bring that herbaceous essence in here. And that is perfect. Now stir together and we have a dry rub. Now we're gonna take this dry rub and just sprinkle each filleted fish generously, front and back too. And then a little bit of oil to make the dry rub nice and spreadable and to keep the fish also moist. Our fish is now nicely rubbed with a dry rub, very well seasoned. We're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes before it goes into the oven. That way it can marinate. And in the meantime, I have some vegetables I'm going to be blanching, so I will be boiling some water. Make sure it's sea salty, so I will season it with salt generously. Cover it so it can come to a boil sooner. All right, now our fish pieces are gonna go on. Skin side down. This way, the skin will do its job, exactly what it's purposed to do, which is to keep the fish fillets moist, but then also it will be easily detachable at the time of eating for those who don't care for the skin. I'm going to add some lemon juice to this and also place sliced lemons on top of the fish because I want it to be really lemony. Citrus and fish, as you all know already, is a match made in heaven. So a little lemon juice just before it goes into the oven will really help maximize the flavor here. Little bit of tang. Time to show the vegetables also some love. So I have these broccolini, which are like a sister to big brother broccoli. They just have longer stems and they're very juicy and also very tender, so I love them. We're just going to cut off the woody stems off just about 1 inch off. And to determine which part is woody, you're going to take one and snap it. It will naturally snap where the woody part stops, right? And that's how you determine where to cut the rest. Perfect. We're going to blanch these in our sea salty boiling water for 2 minutes, just to tenderize these broccolini a little further. The coolness of the broccolini shocked the boiling water, so we're going to bring it back to a rolling boil, and then we'll take it out. It should take about 2 minutes. All right, and I have these organic carrots here also, which were on sale. I'm just going to peel them really quickly, and they come in an assortment of colors, which is perfect because we eat with our eyes first. So the more colorful the food is, the tastier it will be, and also the more nutritious it will be. So we're just peeling the carrots. Is this not gorgeous? And you always want to keep your vegetable scraps. Don't get rid of those scraps because you can always use them for a broth later. So even the broccolini stems, save them, keep them in the freezer. You'll find use for them later. It is time to cook our carrots. We're going to candy or glaze these carrots. So we're going to sort of bring a sweet factor or a sweet element to our rice bowl. A splash of water to cook and tenderize these. Pinch of salt to start seasoning right now. We're also going to need the juice of half a lemon. If you have orange juice, even better because that has more sugar in it. And the tartness from the citrus is going to help us get some balance. We're also going to grate in about a 1/4 teaspoon of this lemon zest. And now, for more sweetness, we're going to add honey. About a tablespoon of honey. Yes, it has to be honey forward. You can also use brown sugar or regular sugar. We just really want to leave a beautiful glaze on these carrots. All right, so next is going onto the stove to cook on very low heat for about 5 minutes with the lid of the skillet on. It's time to take the lid off and reduce the glaze around it. And now we have the heat on high. I have 1 clove of garlic I'm going to grate right in. And just a pinch of chili flakes, just a pinch. And also another small pinch of curry powder. This is going to bring us warmth because it's nice and spiced. We're also going to add a little bit of oil just toward the end, and this is cooking olive oil. Just a splash of that. That will give it a beautiful gloss as well. And to finish it, you want to add fresh or dried parsley. Now we can turn the stove off. Our carrots are glazed and candied. And do you see this glaze? Oh, beautiful. And just when the carrots were done glazing, a quick footage here to remind you that the fish did get put in the oven. But we didn't turn the oven on yet because it's only going to take about 12 minutes to cook the fish. We're baking it at 500 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 minutes, and then we'll turn it to broil at some point just to get a char or caramelization on the top of the fish. Next, we must dress the broccolini before they go into the oven for char and more flavor. So drain them and see how crunchy they are looking, as well as the bright color was maintained. So a little oil, some of this buttery steakhouse herbaceous essence, and also we grate 1 clove of garlic into it. We're going to add the juice of half a lemon as well because the acidity is perfect for bringing balance and also for watering your mouth while you're eating. It makes food more enjoyable. Season with a little bit of salt, crushed black pepper before it goes into the oven. The salmon stayed in the oven for a total of 12 minutes. At the 10th minute mark, we changed its position to the top rack and changed from bake to broil for 2 minutes to get a nice char, which is equal to flavor. All right, so time to warm the broccolini up and also get a little bit of a char on them because char is flavor. So they're gonna go back onto the roasting pan that we baked the fish on. This way, they can mop up the juices from the fish. We're going to broil these for about 3 minutes only, and then we'll be ready to serve our rice bowl. On the top rack for 3 minutes, using your broil option. Our rice is also now cooked. All of our components are ready to be served into our rice bowl. So I'm just giving the rice a quick fluff up. Broccolini is also ready. I'm going to sprinkle some fried crispy onions onto it just as a finishing touch. Why not? I had it on hand. If you don't worry about it. It's still gonna be good, just as is. Time to serve our rice bowl. I'm super excited because everything looks so beautiful. I know it tastes really good, and I'm going to start with the rice. So, you know, a healthy serving of the rice, of course. You know, this is a rice bowl, so make the rice look fancy. It is, after all, the star of the show. So I like to shape my rice just like so. Isn't this better? Doesn't that look prettier? We're serving the fish. Very beautiful and moist. Oh. These are beautiful with the char. Very well seasoned, and now I'm using them to mop up the drippings from baking the fish. Time to eat, friends. This is our green chili sauce. I have several recipes on the channel. I enjoy my food better when I eat with my fingers. But you can use your fork, no worries. So well seasoned. Blanching it in the sea salty water, brilliance, brilliance. Moist salmon, crunchy vegetables, sweet elements from the carrots, fluffy rice, and our green chili sauce brings it all together. Win-win. Thanks for watching. This is so good. I hope you learned a thing or two and are inspired to try the recipe. See you pretty soon on the next one. Greetings, my beautiful family. How are you all doing? I hope you're having a great day so far. Today I'm bringing you a salad, something refreshing and healthy, especially after my long vacation. I've been craving this and I thought to share the recipe with you. So let's jump right in. For our salmon salad recipe, you're going to need about a tablespoon of minced red onion, half a teaspoon of granulated garlic, same amount of crushed black pepper and salt to taste. And then you also need 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, which you can substitute with the same amount of any acid you like to cook with. Citrus will be most preferable. I've also drizzled in some honey and some cooking olive oil. Stir together and you have the perfect marinade. For your 4 pieces of filleted skinless salmon steaks. Although the honey is omittable, I feel it brings a balance of sweetness much needed in this marinade. And the amount of honey used was just enough to prevent it from becoming overpowered with sweetness. Next step is to broil the salmon in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes. It doesn't take too long to cook mackerel, and one thing you don't want to do is overcook this type of fish. So before we do that, we grease the pan. Then place the salmon pieces onto the baking pan, making sure to leave enough space between each steak. What you don't want is to place them close to each other, because then when they start cooking, they will also release their juices and form a soup around them, and that isn't what we're going for. And while the salmon cooks in the oven, we will prepare our salad dressing. So I chop up 2 tablespoons of the red onion. Then I pour the onion into the same bowl as the fish marinade. Add some honey, Dijon mustard, and some aged balsamic vinegar. And here is the balsamic vinegar, which you can find at any grocery store. In the absence of the balsamic vinegar though, you can use any vinegar you like to cook with. And I've also drizzled in some oil. Now I'm adding my salt and crushed black pepper to taste. Stir together to mix it. And that is all she wrote for our salad dressing. Now let's prep our vegetables. You need a cucumber for the salad. Chop it however you like. You will also need some cherry or grape tomatoes, and I just half them. Now we'll need some lettuce, and I'm using a tender lettuce known as Boston lettuce, but it also offers crunch, so I love that. And chop your lettuce however you prefer, and add 1 avocado also chopped. And that's all she wrote for the vegetables. We are ready to dress the salad. Before I do so, I chop up just a small amount of flat leaf parsley, also known as Italian parsley, for that fresh herbaceous essence. Add to the salad dressing and dress the salad with it. So easy, that quick, we are done. The fish, our salmon, should be also emergent from the oven. At this time, it has been 12 minutes. I timed the oven for 12 minutes, and that's perfect amount of time it took to cook the salmon to perfection, leaving them still juicy, very tender, and not overcooked. Now, if you're new to Nanaba's Kitchen, I would like to warmly welcome you to our family. I thank you for clicking. If you're not subscribed, consider doing so before you leave. Because here in Nanaba's Kitchen, I bring you nothing but my very best and a lot of love. I thrive on bringing you recipes that are full of soul and you can easily replicate. So please join the family. Now we have placed the salmon pieces onto the salad, drizzling on the rest of the salad dressing onto the salmon pieces as well as the rest on the salad itself. And voila! You have a whole meal on its own, friends. Here it is. Just soak it all in. The colors, the textures, the flavors, layers upon layers. And how stunning is this salad, friends? That salmon is so moist. Take a look. That salmon is so juicy, friends, and it tastes so good. The perfect balance of sweetness and savoriness, and all those layers of very few ingredients, though, but we were able to achieve great flavors with those few ingredients. And that bite, as you know, sent me straight to my happy place. Another great idea that occurred to me with this recipe is that it's a great addition to our meal prepping menu, friends. So prepare your salad dressing ahead of time and separately from the vegetables as well as the fish, and it'll come together well as a whole meal, such as lunch or even dinner, when you're ready to eat. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're inspired to try these ideas. Make it a great day and have fun, especially in that kitchen.